So I'm getting one hell of a deal. This coal was bagged in 2018, and it's buckwheat size. I'm trying to figure out how to burn it. I think I got it. The guy I was getting the stove coal off of was giving me a good deal on the stove size because he's just trying to move the stock. It's been sitting for a while. Because I usually burn this nut size. This buckwheat is that size. Stove coal is that size. So stuff as big as my fist down. Nut coal, you're gonna get pieces like this size, that size. That's the size of nut. This is the size of stove, and this is the size of buckwheat. So as you can see, there's a little bit of difference. You get the same amount of BTUs out of a ton of coal no matter what size it is. It's just how long it takes to get there. Now, nut coal, nut size, this stove loves it. But the issue I'm having is, like I say, I finally got it to where when I burn nut, I'll just do it right now. When I burn nut, I run that damper about that far open. When I burn stove coal, I run it about that far open. But I'm burning buckwheat, so I'm running it about that far open. Reasoning being is the air can't get through the pieces. It takes a lot of air from underneath to get through them. With the stove size, it's big, it lets air around it, and it burns hot faster. Nut coal is like a medium. It puts out an optimal amount of heat, but it takes longer to get there. The stove coal is obviously quicker. This is really slow to get there. So about 600 on the jacket. We already got what the fire looks like. Oh, that's what she's doing right now. And the way I have to load the coal, let's see if I can do it right now. Take that scoop of that soup can, and I gotta do it like that. I can't just dump a bucket in or whatever. I gotta do it like that. So, and that's hot. I think that's in some hair. But for the effort of tending this stove and the cost buying the coal, now mind you, this stuff went up 50 cents a bag, so I was paying $9 a bag. Lasts me a little over a day and a half, one bag, depending on how rough I'm burning it. That stuff's costing me, what did he sell that to? Or that's the stove coal's costing me $8 a bag. He's going to charge me $5 a bag for that. So if I can burn that, he's got about a half a ton left. That half a ton will get me into February at least. And he has about half a ton of stove, and he has 3 ton of pea, which he will also sell me to the same as $8 a bag, which is cheaper than where I've been getting it from out on Lyona Road. So there's trade-offs. Okay, so the stove coal is going to burn quicker. The nut coal, I can set my watch to it. This stuff, I'm still learning it because I haven't burned a full 24 hours yet with it complete in the stove. Right now there's a mix of stove and buckwheat because I use stove to get the fire going or picked up, and then I kind of smothered it because I had to learn the technique. And I was up till 3:45 last night learning this, or this morning. So when I smothered it, it takes a lot longer for all that what's that called? The thermal mass. Coal is a rock. You have to heat it up in order for it to burn. So you have to bring that thermal mass up to a certain temperature, and once the thermal mass is at the same temperature as the whole unit, then you have optimum heat output. This has been burning like this since I left it for work at noon. I left at noon, or not noon, I actually left at 10 to 11, and it's been holding that temperature. Well, 600, I just put that little bit on there, and it's gonna calm it down a little more. So that little bit of thermal mass I added to it cooled it down just a little bit, if that makes any kind of sense. But I will not have to do anything to this. What time is it right now? Like around 7, 6:30, something like that. I wouldn't have to do nothing until another 12 hours. So in the morning when I wake up, I just shake the pan or shake the grate, take the ash out, put the pan back in, and go to work and come home. And even if I work over, don't matter. This stove will continually hold that temperature at least 18 hours. But I do this every time on a schedule. So when I get home, sometimes I work over and I don't get home till after midnight, and the stove is still holding that temperature. So I get into the routine of doing the same thing every day. I have to learn the routine for this type. So once I understand what the stove likes, I need to start putting marks on the door. So I'll put like BW and just Sharpie BW for buckwheat. And then P coal, I think, is right about here, where this edge is about right here, where I got to burn it at to achieve 7 to 750 in that range. Nut coal, when I showed you earlier, when I closed it to about there, will run anywhere between 650 and almost 900 degrees. And it's not hurting the stove. This is a chimney thermometer. It's a magnetic one. It's definitely not an overfire. This is definitely not optimum, because this is for a wood stove. This is just showing me what that close ballpark temperature of the stove is, because there's thick refractory bricks in this. Not like a wood stove. They have refractory bricks, but this design is a lot different. So this stove was actually, these were built to burn soft coal, which is on this side of the state in Pennsylvania. That's what those flues are for. I'm going to be casting new blocks for those corners. I got a good idea how to do it now and how to make my own. I just got to get the refractory. I'm going to have to go up to Cambridge Springs and get some Mizzou and cast them myself. So, because you see, like that one, the whole center's broke out of it. It should be bridged across, and there should be a small hole underneath to let different layers of the coal bed have air pass through, because soft coal does not burn like this. It will once the volatiles are burnt off. This anthracite that's what you see. That's what you get. Kind of like, you got a gas furnace heating your house. If you looked in that burner box, you'd see that blue flame. It's clean. Don't let anybody fool you. The only thing that's dirty about it is the ash. I spill it when I change the pan. I just sweep it up with a dustpan. I do it every week. So it's the technique of learning how to load it and how much air to give it, because every chimney is different. Every stove is different. The coal is the same. It's just what your setup wants to do and how it wants to do it, as in how they get the heat output. Because there's people that, I burn wood. I tried coal. Because you're using the same mentality when they say, I couldn't get it to burn. Well, you're using the same mentality you burn wood with, and you can't do that. Throw what you know about burning wood, throw it out the window, because this will teach you. And it will show you what it wants. And you got to be patient with it. you don't want to be doing this like I did last night when the temperature was dropping. And then my stove was pretty much cooled down to, I was keeping it just above 350, and that's just not enough to make any heat in here. So I'm doubling that right now. So, it's definitely, what is it, 65, 66, probably coming up a little more now after I tended it. But there's no messing around. There's no screwing around. With splitting wood, carrying wood, stacking wood, keeping it dry, leaving it set. You could put water in that bucket, drain the water out, the coal's wet, and dump it right in the damn stove, and it's gonna burn. So, and me driving truck all these years, I didn't have time to be messing around with wood and I just don't. So I pay for the convenience of just going to the store, buying a bag, dump it in that bucket, and then dump it in the stove. I don't know. To each their own, I guess. So, but yeah. A ton of coal. What is a ton of coal? I can't remember how many million BTUs compared to a quart of wood, compared to fuel oil. I mean, there's a calculator. You can look all this stuff up. And it's crazy. I just wish the cost of, nut and stove size would come down. And after all this stupid regulatory shit since 2008, coal's so bad, it's bad. Yeah, the soft coal is bad. This is hard coal. You've seen what it's burning in my stove. I might go get some soft coal this weekend. I don't know. I'm hoping to. And if I do that, I'll do another video on soft coal. But I've already done a video on my YouTube channel. I've done a whole series on this stove burning anthracite, 20-hour burns, 18-hour burns, 48-hour burn without messing with it, gone for the weekend. So if I can get this stuff to act right, which it seems to be, I want to see how long I can push it for the amount of heat. It should last a lot longer than nut or stove between loadings, but I'm not going to chance it and have it go out. But this is quite the long video.